What do you think about
I
the
know,
new
but that's your
FOIA and the
daughter.
videos coming out?
Well, I hope they all come out soon.
You're hopeful for them to come out?
Yeah, I want all of them to come out.
Gypsy's not worried?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I think that it's important for everyone to see everything.
Hey everyone, Carolina Girl here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you enjoy the content. I believe this is my first video this year, so I would like to wish everyone a happy new year. I hope you all have a happy, healthy, and safe 2026. Speaking of 2026, I hope this will be the year that we can clear Dee Dee's name of what Gypsy has accused her of for the last 10 years, and that's having Munchausen syndrome by proxy, and that she was abusive. Now, don't get me wrong, Dee Dee's not innocent in this case. There was a con, and Dee Dee had her hands in that con, but she didn't deserve a death sentence. I don't believe she did anyway. At most, she deserved her day in court. But let's talk about these videos right now. That's what I want to talk about. I do want to state that this may run a little long, but I also ask you to bear with me, please. As you know, I always come with receipts. I feel that this is important. When I say something, I want to be able to back up what I say. So my intro was Ken, the baby daddy, saying he couldn't wait for all the videos to come out. He felt like everyone needed to see everything. Listen to this clip. This is Bree, Gypsy's PR person. This was clipped either on the 27th or the 28th of December.
Y'all are some of the most pathetic, low-life, vile human beings that I have ever met in my life. And all because you're so goddamn obsessed with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Drag me all you want. Y'all have tried everything. This isn't going to work either. Maybe for once y'all can focus on me then, instead of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her videos from fucking 13 years ago.
Now, she had a serious and unfortunate situation happen to her within 24 hours of making that video, and she's worried about us watching Gypsy's videos from 13 years ago. You call us obsessed, but if that wasn't so serious for you, Bree, I would think that you set that up to distract us from watching these videos with how you said that. I mean, that would be obsessed, girlfriend. And I'm also going back, I'm thinking about that old expression where it says, be careful what you wish for, Ken, because it seems like Bree's not happy these videos have come out. So you claim that you know more about this case than anybody. If I'm not mistaken, she was even so bold to say that she knew more about this case than Gypsy. I'm sure if she said that, there's a clip somewhere. So if somebody knows where that clip's at, let me know where it's at, because I swear I thought I heard her say that a couple months back on a live. So I want y'all to listen to these clips that I pulled. It's not that's not one of them, but I want you to listen to these clips that I pulled. This first one is from around late October, early November 2025.
Of you motherfuckers. You want to know why? Because I'm not doing it for content. I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because I believe that another human being that bleeds the same color as me is hated by disgusting people in this world, and she doesn't deserve to be. So the effort that I put into it doesn't even compare to what y'all put into it.
Now, these next two are from the same live. They're from December 2025 when she went on Perez Hilton's live.
Since you've become friends with her, would you say you're familiar with everything that people are saying?
In my opinion, and I'm not one to boost myself, I feel like I know this case better than anyone.
Okay, so we'll get to that, but
At her, I've met friends of Dee Dee. And at the end of the day, what this started off as is content for people that they're making money off of. And You know, you're here battling, you know, you want to make that money, and that's fine. Do your thing. Do your thing. But when it starts to affect a person, and then now even her baby, like people just leaked her baby's pictures a week ago.
Now, when it comes to her baby, I don't discuss her baby. Her baby has nothing to do with this case as far as I'm concerned. She has no control over who her mother is, and she has nothing to do with what happened to her grandmother. Bree, I'm going to say you don't know more about this case than anyone. You are stuck in a bubble surrounded by Gypsy and her medical records. We don't believe Gypsy's narrative, and this goes beyond her medical records. You refuse to read her prison emails, which, hey, I'll give you that. You don't have to read her prison emails. They wouldn't have had anything to do with her case had she gone to trial. It's not like they're evidence. But you and your camp refuse to read the FOIA documents and watch the videos. Sheena has stated it doesn't matter to her because Gypsy has already served her time and she won't go back to prison. That is not what we're doing this for, or it's not what I'm doing it for. I know she won't go back to prison on this case. This case has been officially closed. I'm doing this to get the truth out because for the last 10 years, Gypsy has dehumanized her mother to the media and to the public. Dee Dee didn't have Munchausen's, and I don't believe she abused Gypsy. My question is, how can you properly defend someone if you haven't watched and read everything we have? You can't really. You stay focused on her medical records. It has already been proven that a lot of her symptoms that were being treated stem from her 1Q21.1. Currently, you state that all she suffers from is strabismus, and you acknowledge she has microcephaly. Well, she has 4 other symptoms currently, and they are anxiety, high palate, scoliosis, and short stature. You also stated that the people on this side only do this for content to make money or they chasing clout. Well, I'm not doing it for any of the above. I don't care about the drama that surrounds Gypsy's life or your life for that matter. I care about the truth getting out there and Gypsy being exposed for the liar that she is. I said from the beginning that I didn't want to monetize this channel. Now that I can, I still don't want to monetize my channel. It was never about that for me. I don't care about clout. I care about getting the truth out there. Here is a clip of Bree stating Dee Dee wouldn't let Gypsy leave the house.
A woman, smash, a woman doing that, girl, you got. I promise you, Gypsy ain't the only one that used a toothbrush. She got a mom that wouldn't let her leave her house. Where she's supposed to get something else from?
I want you to watch this next clip. This next clip is a video that came out with the videos that were just released. I do not believe that I published it on my page yet, but I do have it as like a little joke video on TikTok, on my TikTok over there.
Hey baby. Okay, so this is my yard. I'm gonna kind of show you a little bit of the options we have. Okay, so all of this, I'm videotaping with my phone right now. All of this is my yard. And as you can see, there is a greenhouse over there. That's a good spot over there too, like in the back of there. And over there is like a picnic kind of table area. Let me come around here. Ah! 1 second. Yeah, so all our yard. This right here is just our ramp. And so I'm gonna come and kind of show you a little bit of where everything is. And over here, I don't know if you can see that picnic table from very far away, but you see all of this, all of that, that's my house right there. All of this is the yard, and you can kind of see um, the back of these trailers are kind of a good spot too, because at night it gets really, really dark. And there is that picnic table over there, as you can see. And over there is a pretty good spot. So yeah, this is kind of like the options that we have. you know, at night, this right here, right over here, behind here. Oh, that's the perfect spot, right there. Yeah, yeah, like by the greenhouse. It's perfect. Okay, so these are the spots. Okay, I love, adore, and worship you, darling. Talk to you later. Bye.
See, Bree, if you would have watched the videos that have been released, you would have known that there's a video of your girl rolling around the neighborhood looking for places to fornicate with Nick when he comes to town. So apparently, Gypsy wasn't always under Dee Dee's thumb. And that's another thing you would have learned if you would have been, you know, if you watched these videos. With 115 videos that I have, Becca stated this the other night in her live because I shared these videos with her as well. She stated that there was over 60 hours of videos to watch, you know, and so that's a lot of time on Gypsy's hands. We've only got half the videos. And so, I mean, you know, for her, that's a lot of time on her hands. And you know what all I witnessed when I'm watching these videos? Not only does she have a lot of time on her hands when she's making these videos, but there's a couple times where there's a ringing phone in the background when she's making these videos. And she could care less about that ringing phone. Where was Dee Dee with all these videos being made? And there's a lot, a lot. So where was Dee Dee when these videos were being made? Why didn't she answer that ringing phone and say, help me, my mom's abusing me? I know you're going to have a million excuses on why she couldn't do that. But girl, I'm telling you, she's really got the wool pulled over your eyes. If you can't see what we all see watching these videos, and then you need to read the FOIA documents too. There's a lot in there. I mean, I haven't even really gotten a chance to read the FOIA documents, but just skimming through what I've skimmed through, girlfriend, you know, you can't defend Gypsy unless you plan on reading the FOIA documents that's coming out and watching these videos. You cannot properly defend her. She's got you looking like a fool. She's got anybody that believed her story and still believe in her story looking like a fool, because this stuff coming out has already debunked her narrative. I mean, her narrative is no longer. It's no longer. It's done. I also have to ask you if you looked at the crime scene photos. Because why does Gypsy have a bus pass or a bus fare, reduced bus fare card? You said that she never let, you know, Dee Dee never let Gypsy out of the house. So why does she have a bus card, bus fare card? Why was she riding the bus? Where was she going on the bus? Can you tell me? Can anybody tell me where Gypsy was going on this bus? Because, I mean, I just don't see. I mean, like I said, she had a lot of time on her hands making these videos. She's got a bus card, so apparently she was going somewhere without Dee Dee. She spent a lot of time on the computer. She couldn't call 911. She couldn't call Department of Social Services. She couldn't call Child Protective Services. She couldn't do any of that. She couldn't take that 3-ring binder that she had, that she went when she met Dan Gladwell at the hospital, and she had that 3-ring binder that proved her age. You know, she couldn't take that to anybody that could help her, but she could take it to a man to prove to that man that she was over the age of 18, so that way that they could hook up. I mean, make this make sense to me, folks. I mean, because it doesn't make sense to me. This whole damn story does not make sense. Her story never made sense to me. And now with all this stuff coming out, I mean, come on now. I was born in the morning, but it wasn't this morning and it wasn't yesterday morning either. I tell you. So when it comes to the videos, the only thing that Bree really is interested in is making Nick look like the bad guy. And so far, I don't see it with the videos that I've watched, and I am putting them in order. I have not seen where Nick is the bad guy. That camp claims that Nick forced Gypsy to make these videos and that are being published now. And I want to know how Nick could force her to do anything when he lives 7 to 8 hours away by car. And so this shows it was 576 miles distance from Big Bend, Wisconsin to Springfield, Missouri, 8 hours, 54 minutes. And gas is anywhere from $42 to $81. And so he lives 8 hours away, and actually by bus, it was longer than that. It took him a lot longer to get there by bus than it did, than it would have by car. And so I want to play this clip for you. This is Nick talking to Detective Mahali during his interrogation.
She gave you money?
Yeah.
How did you get the money?
She sent it in the mail.
Okay. So, was it cash that she sent you?
Yes.
Or, okay. And how much did she send you?
That time I believe it was 400.
Money this time for you to come?
Yeah.
And how much did she send you this time?
Same number, actually.
400? Okay.
Yeah.
And then she just sent it to you in the mail cash?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm not sure how Nick could make Gypsy do anything when he didn't have the means to get to her and he was 7 to 8 hours away. All she had to do was block him. We all know she knows how to do that, and shut her laptop and lose his number. The fact is, Nick didn't force her to make those videos. This next clip is of Bree. She was live the other night and Perez Hilton joined her panel. Again, she's stating Nick is telling Gypsy what to say in her videos, and Bree claims the videos are not being played in order.
Could be mistaken. You correct me, Bree, because you know more than me. In these messages, there's messages where he's telling her what to say in these videos and stuff. Am I right or wrong?
No, that's in the videos, but people are watching that, Sheena. They're not comprehending. I don't understand it. I don't understand why. In the videos, he literally says in the next video, do this, but they're not watching them in the order, so they'll never understand it the way that it's meant to be understood.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. So
So I am currently in the process of publishing the videos in order on my YouTube channel, TikTok, and Instagram. Under my playlist tab here on YouTube, I have 3 playlists for 2013, 2014, and 2015. 2013 is complete, and 2014 already has 11 videos in it. Again, they are in order. Now, when I first requested the videos, I initially requested just one video where Gypsy shows Nick that she can stand and walk. And so this was the email that I received back from Miss Hicks. She messaged me back asking if I could be more specific because there were over 200 videos in this case. And I replied that I would just go ahead and take all the videos in this case, and that I had, because she said that it was going to be well over $5 to, go through all the videos, search through the videos, looking for the one that I wanted. And so I told her I had a couple $100 in good faith money if she needed me to pay, because I figured 200 plus videos would be costly. And she stated that it would not be needed and she would be in touch. And so next thing I know, I received this email dated December 9th. And so they researched all the videos, and I was going to receive 115 videos that were shared between Gypsy and Nick. And I am publishing all the videos in my possession in order the best I can, going by the date modified date. The videos I did not receive had to do with being sexually explicit. And so you can see here, it says that Please note that there are select videos that we are unable to release, pursuant to their statute. And it says non-consensual dissemination of private sexual images, intimate parts, the fully unclothed, partially unclothed, or transparently clothed genitals, pubic area, or anus, or if the person is female, a partially exposed nipple, including exposure through transparent clothing. So therefore, these videos are not being provided. And it shows that I paid $34.86, which I actually paid more than that with tax, but it's like not a big deal. I expected to pay a lot more than that. And so I was kind of shocked at the fee. And I understand that Into the Weeds, I guess because they must have had the first FOIA request or the first big FOIA request. I guess that they were the ones that really kind of paid the research fees and stuff like that. But I did contribute to them too as well. When Morbid, they came over to Morbid's channel right before he stopped going live and said that they needed, I think it was like $400 or $500 left to get this FOIA. And I did contribute to them for that. So, I appreciate all their hard work and everything that they put into. I mean, she requested the emails. She requested everything in this case when it came to not only just the videos, but I mean, everything. So she's got a lot she's got to go through. And so, I mean, I can't wait for it to all come out because, I mean, everything that I've seen so far as I'm concerned, it's blown Gypsy's narrative out of the water. I mean, her story is blown all to hell at this point. She doesn't have a story anymore. And so it's just going to be interesting to see, what happens next, I guess. So next I want to share this clip of Bree and Perez Hilton from her live the other night. And I'll be stopping throughout, to respond to it. Let's see.
Should be the simple for so many people. Okay, so Gypsy was put in a wheelchair when she didn't need one. That's abuse. Gypsy's head was
okay. I need to add this real quick.
Hey, love. I wanted to show you something special, something that I haven't showed you before, mainly because I was scared to and I didn't really know how to. So, anyway, this is what I want to show you. I hope you like my dress. But I don't think it's the dress that you're probably excited about right now. So, it's finally nice to show you after all this time. I'm sorry I have to keep it a secret from you for so long, but it's not just you that I'm keeping it a secret from. It's sort of like everybody who knows me. I don't even know how I got started. When I was 6 years old, I went into the hospital for like 6 months, and the doctors told me that I had a seizure in surgery, and I wouldn't be able to walk, that I was paralyzed permanently. And that part, like the part that I had a seizure, was true. In surgery, I had the seizure and I was paralyzed, but what they didn't know is that it was temporary paralysis and not permanent. And by the time I started to get my feeling back in my legs, and I hadn't tried to walk then, but I was too young and I just kept to myself, and throughout the years, I tried to tell my mom a few times, and I guess I was just afraid of her not loving me as much as she does if I couldn't walk. You know, I didn't want to make her sad or lose any love from her. I guess that's the reason why I kept it a secret from her. And so I just kept it to myself for a long time until 2011, whenever I sort of started rebelling as a teenager and ran away from home. Literally ran away from home and stumbled. Before I ran away, I started trying to walk as much as I could. And I just got enough strength to be able to leave home. Unfortunately, it was the wrong person. And so Mom's kind of in denial in a way. I don't really know, because I guess it would be too hard to explain to all our friends and everything. And one thing I never want to go is like a liar. And believe me, I would like for people to know the truth, but being as it is, I would lose a lot of friends, I think. And I just don't want anybody to hate me. And they would.
Now, see, Bree, had you watched the videos, you would know your girl told Nick that she kept it from her mom she could walk for 13 years. Gypsy caused herself to be in the wheelchair, so that's not abuse. I'm going to rewind this back a little bit.
Yeah, that's abuse. Gypsy's head was shaved when it didn't need to be. That's abuse.
Okay. Girlfriend, who is abusing Gypsy now then? Because her head is shaved now. If you snatched her wig off her head, she would look like her mugshot. Let's look at this photo. The top two photos, okay? The top photos. The top left, where she's wearing the black shirt. That's the day of her arrest, or the night of her arrest. That's what she looked like when she was arrested. Now, the top right, I believe that is her mugshot when she actually got extradited back to Greene County, Missouri from Waukesha. So then we go to the bottom photos. The bottom photos are quite recent. The one where she's wearing the gray sweatshirt where it says conspiracy, that was, I want to say, taken around like late summer, early fall, maybe. I'm not quite sure, but I'm wanting to say around that time. And the one where she's wearing a little white sweatshirt and a white headband, that was taken right there towards the end of the year. That was one of the ones that she posted, I think, either on her Instagram, or I'm not quite sure where she posted. I mean, you know, you look at it and it's no different than her mugshot photos. In her own head, shaving her head back then because she liked to wear wigs, and that's what she's doing it for now, because she likes to wear wigs. They said that she dyed her hair so much that she ended up damaging her hair, and so that's why she had to cut it all off. But I mean, she enjoys wearing wigs, and so I think that's why she keeps her hair short. And I believe she was doing it herself then. I don't believe Dee Dee was shaving her head. So if that's the case, that's not abuse. So let's go back to listen to some more.
Was put on a feeding tube, and it was never taken out of her. But when she got to prison, it was removed, and she was fine. She could eat perfectly fine.
want to share this with you. This was discovered, and this is shout out to Straight Out of Context, Barb, for sharing this with us. These are Facebook messages or statuses, like the Facebook documents from, this is a shared account, I think, with Nicholas and Gypsy. It was called Nicholas Bella Rose, was their joint account. And Gypsy posted this status. It was a Facebook status that was posted May 31st, 2015. She said, I lost 3 pounds in 3 days just from not eating. And Nicholas said, Hun, why aren't you eating? You know I don't like that, dear. And this Nate McDog, he's a friend. He was a friend of Gypsy and Nick's, but he was a friend of Nick's. But he, I guess, accepted Gypsy, you know, as a friend. And so he said, just stop eating is bad. I did that from depression, and I went from 120 pounds to 80. You literally could see my bones. It was scary. I had malnutrition, which doesn't sound bad, but it's just horrible. And my stomach shrunk so much they were going to do surgery on it. Just eat one big healthy meal a day. Don't starve yourself. It's not fun in the end. Just sharing my side of the story, I guess. I don't want someone to go through what I went through is all. So then Gypsy responds back to this guy, says, it's my emotions. If I can go without eating, then eat again once my body decides it's able to handle more than 2 bites. I go through this from time to time. I'll be okay. I'm going to eat my favorite tonight, gumbo. Thanks. So she's going to be eating gumbo that night. And it was May 31st, 2015. June 1st, 2015. And so Nate replies back, anytime, it's just you're a cool cat, so I worry about all my friends. And so Gypsy responds back to him where he says that that Nate worries about all of his friends. She said, well, thank you. I would do the same, vice versa. And so Nick responds back to her and said, darling, you better know when you are living with me, I won't let you not eat for days. Not only is that unhealthy, it's also worrisome as well. Heart emoji. And so apparently, you know, Gypsy didn't like to eat it from time to time. And so I'm kind of wondering if that's why she had the feeding tube. I think that there's probably going to be a lot more to come out regarding that as we get this information, the information that's going to be coming out and all these and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see, you know. Let's finish listening to Bree.
Abuse. The fact that she could not have a boyfriend when she was in her 20s, that should show you. I mean, that's no person should feel like they can't have a. I mean, why wouldn't she be able to?
But like the medical.
Let me stop it right there real quick. There is a video too that Gypsy, I don't know if it's in 2014 or 2015. I haven't gotten to it yet. So I know it's coming up though, because I know Into the Weeds played it and published it on their channel. So she admits to something about Dee Dee told her she could date once she was mature enough. And just judging by these videos and everything, she wasn't mature enough, girl. I mean, she's still 34 years old. She's really not mature enough. How many times have you told us she's still learning, she's still growing? Well, hell, it's been 10 years since her crime, and she spent 8.5 years in prison. Why is she still learning and growing? I figured going to prison, she would have been fast-tracked to growing up and learning how to adult. I mean, come on now. How long does it take to learn and grow? I mean, the girl wasn't that stupid. You know, watch these videos. She's not stupid, Bree. She's not naive. That's what I see in these videos. That's what a lot of people are going to see in these videos when they watch them. But you, for some reason, you got this girl on a pedestal, and the sun rises and sets on this girl. And she's got you looking like a fool. Anybody else that's in her camp is looking like a fool if you continue to believe all this crap that she keeps trying to spew at you guys, because the case evidence isn't showing that. The case evidence isn't showing what she's tried to sell to the public for the last 10 years, or what she has sold to the public for the last 10 years.
Things, they would not have happened if the doctors didn't believe they were necessary.
Wrong.
Wrong. What do you mean? Like, that would mean that medical malpractice doesn't exist. That would mean that Munchausen by proxy isn't a thing. That would mean that medical child abuse doesn't happen. That would mean that doctors don't make mistakes. That would mean that caregivers aren't freaking calculated and aren't deceptive, which is what equals people who have Munchausen by proxy. That would mean that every single person who's ever gone through this abuse basically hasn't.
So why? Here's a thought that had not occurred to me before. Then why has she not like considered or actually gone after these doctors and
Statute
sued
of limitations.
Tell him, Bree.
Statute of limitations. And when it comes to Missouri, especially Louisiana, which is where a lot of the bigger surgeries were done. Man, Louisiana, you have like 1 year after you find out, because they do that thing where like if the time can start from when you find out that these things weren't necessary or whatever. Well, Louisiana, the statute of limitations is it's such a short period of time, and you have to figure she had a case to also fight.
Well, it says, I'm going to tell you, Bree, you say that she had a case that she had to fight. Well, she didn't have a case she had to fight because she took a plea deal, number one. And number two, all she would have had to do was have an attorney file all she had to do was file within that year. Doesn't mean that it was going to be settled within that year or what have you, but as long as that case would have been filed before that 1 year mark, or, depending on her situation, because of the fact of the situation, the way it was. And, she would have learned probably in 2016, 2017, it could have gone to maybe 2016, 2017 for her, as far as when she learned that she had these unnecessary treatments or whatever the case was. So the fact of the matter was Christy and Rod were rejected by the the medical malpractice attorneys. Hold on one second. This is an excerpt of a video I did a couple months ago where it was about medical malpractice. So anyway, the statute of limitations is basically up in this case, and I feel like that ship has sailed as far as, suing now. And that's Bree's big thing, when people say, well, why didn't you sue? And Bree is like, well, the statute of limitations is up now. Girl, it's been 10 years. It's not like, it's not like it just happened. It's been 10 years. She had 10 years to sue, and according to Christy, they've been to a few lawyers and they rejected them. So anyway, I would like to play a clip for you of Gypsy on Bree's Live. It was about either last week or the week before, and I'm leaning more for about 2 weeks ago, because this was the last time Gypsy was on Bree's Live. And so I've been going through the live, and I've been just kind of pulling clips that pertain to some of the stuff that I like to talk about. But here is Gypsy on Bree's panel, like I said, a couple weeks ago.
To sue the doctors. Well, the thing is like I didn't even think about statute of limitations. It was a big deal to me when I was in prison. And I've always just been so damn busy. Like in prison, I was in school. I was trying to get my GED. I had a few phone calls with Christy where she and Dad went looking for an attorney. Christy told me that she didn't get a phone call back from any of the attorneys that she had reached out to. And then later, Christy would do interviews, and she said, you know, I reached out to attorneys. They said they wouldn't touch the case. Now, I believe Christy. Was I there to confirm that information? No, I believe Christy.
Jeff,
But
you go ahead and finish. I'll tell you also.
But that's just, you know, that's what I was told. And then after that, I kind of just was like, you know what? It's not going to give me my salivary glands back. It's not going to give me those years that I could have been running around in the yard back. So what gain do I have? Most of the doctors are too old and retired now to even sue. What does it matter? Like, I have a kid now. I have a life now. I'm 34 years old. If they're retired, then good. They ain't going to do it to anybody else. What's the point in suing them now?
Well, you know what?
I just can't with this girl. I really can't. I mean, there's just so much wrong with this clip right here. Just this little clip. There's just so much wrong with it as far as I'm concerned. She made bold claims about these medical providers, saying they did things that they shouldn't have done, basically, because her mom said, you know, I want this done. Or, you know, Gypsy's suffering from this, so this needs to be done. It was like she was given the call and the shots and stuff and, you know, barking the orders. And these doctors were just jumping through hoops like Dee Dee was in the Mercy Children's Hospital performing a circus or something, having these doctors jump through all these hoops for Gypsy. I just don't see it. And so Gypsy, you know, she acts like she just can't be bothered. Number one, she's insinuating like Christy's lying about these lawyers rejecting her. That's what she's trying to insinuate there. When she's like, well, I believe Christy, but was I there? I wasn't there, but I believe Christy. I mean, I know what she's trying to insinuate there, and I think everybody else probably does too. But I mean, Christy, like, that's why I made kind of a big deal about the fact that one interview was done in June 2017, and then I had a screenshot, I'm going to say probably in you know, early 2024, and Christy said the same thing. This is 6 years later, and she said the same thing, almost verbatim, that she said in that interview about we were rejected. You were rejected because you didn't have a case. That's why you were rejected. And then Gypsy wants to act like she's so damn busy in prison. Are you kidding me? You want to see what her schedule was in prison? Let's look at what her schedule was in prison. This is her schedule in prison, folks. 7:30 a.m. they had count time, and so they sat up in their bunks, they turned the lights on, the COs come by, and they account for all the inmates. She said it takes about 15 to 20 minutes, after which she went back to sleep. 10:30 a.m. she gets down from her top bunk, she says, clicks on her TV and makes her little instant coffee. She takes coffee in hand and goes to the day room. She says, sometimes I make phone calls, but most times she'd go back to her room, look at her locker, and, you know, pick something out to eat for the most part, and then go back to the day room. That was at 10:30. From 1:30 to 3 p.m., they had rec time. She said, I like to work out on the elliptical machine for about an hour. I'd come back to the housing unit, shower, and by the time I was out and dressed, it was about 3 p.m. 3 p.m., I went to work. I took out the trash, swept and mopped, changed toilet paper rolls, and so on. So she was basically a janitor, which, hey, cool. 4:30 p.m., count time again. We returned to our rooms and sat on our bunks until the COs finished. 5 to 10 p.m., free time for phone use or other things like reading or playing games or studying. I was able to get my GED while at Chillicothe. 10 p.m., count time and time for bed. So she was in Chillicothe for 8.5 years, folks, but she was too damn busy to talk to an attorney about medical malpractice. She blamed these doctors on national television, anywhere she could, saying that they, you know, like I said, were jumping through hoops for Dee Dee, doing all these unnecessary things to her because Dee Dee told them to. Dee Dee lost her life for this. But she couldn't talk, she couldn't reach out to a few attorneys. Are you kidding me? And she's sitting there talking about, I'm 34, I have a life now, I have a kid now. What would be the point? Well, I think the point would be, one of the main point would be to hold these people accountable, don't you think? Like I said, Dee Dee lost her life for this. And she's just like, la, la, la. What's the point of doing it now? They're probably so old, la, la, la. Well, you can't do it now, Gypsy. Now that ship has sailed. And the fact of the matter is you didn't have a case, but you've smeared these doctors. You smeared your mother. So that was an excerpt from my video titled Too Busy to Sue for Medical Malpractice. I will put a link in the description box for you. For those that have not seen it, please go and watch it. I provide receipts about, I had the interview that Christy did back in June of 2017, where she said her and Rod had been to a few malpractice attorneys and that none of them wanted to touch this case, that they were rejected every time. And then that was, like I said, in June 2017. And then when Gypsy was released from prison, they were all in these Facebook groups and all over Facebook making comments about, you know, whatever the topic was at the time. But somebody made a comment. I don't know what post it was on. I can't remember, but somebody made a comment about Gypsy needed to sue the doctors. And Christy replied pretty much the same. And like I said, this was early 2024 when this comment would have been made by Christy. And this was 6 years later from June 2017. And she replied almost verbatim, they rejected us. Rod and I, you know, went to talk to a couple of attorneys and they rejected us. So, you know, please, like I said, just go watch that video. And like I said, I provide receipts. I explain the medical malpractice. There's a couple other incidences that happened with Gypsy on posts, you know, that where I actually commented on a couple of her posts. And then she kept deleting comments. And then one, she was deleting comments. She turned comments off, and then she ended up deleting the whole post. So, you know, I find it interesting because it was a multi-million-dollar case, and she couldn't be bothered. And so that's kind of interesting. Her mom could lose her life over this, but she couldn't sue for a couple mil. That's interesting. Anyway, winding down here, I do have a question for Bree. Just a quick question. So if Gypsy was so traumatized and abused by all these unnecessary medical procedures, how could she run straight out of prison and into a chair to have a nose job? That doesn't make sense to me. That was an unnecessary procedure. I'm sure you will have some kind of excuse for her. You always do. But I just, you know, I just thought that was interesting because there were so many things that's been mentioned with, you know, she said that she was chained to a bed, but then when you read her prison emails and some of these things that's coming out in the FOIA documents through Facebook and stuff, she wanted to be chained up and bitten and all kind of stuff. And so you would think that, you know, if all this stuff was happening to her, you know, being chained up, and you know all these unnecessary medical procedures, she would want to stay away from the hospital. She wouldn't be wanting to be chained up and bitten, and you know, I don't know, Bree. Anyway, all right, everyone, you let me know what you think about this video, everything that's going on. Leave something in the comments for me because there's a lot going on right now, and and a lot coming out right now. And so, like I said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I'm here for it. I can't wait. So be sure to check out my video that's going to be linked in the description box. Shout out to Straight Outta Context for the FOIA information she provided me. I really appreciate that. Thank you again for thinking of me and including me in that. I hope you all have a nice evening, and I will see you again soon. And remember, all aboard the truth train. It is coming full steam ahead. Choo choo.
Hell, 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 evil, 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 sin, sin, sin.
You make me